Right, to this now 19 years after the death of her son, Thabang Mbele, Lumka Mbele still has no answers surrounding how he passed away. Now, he died as a result of injuries sustained while playing rugby at Potchefstroom, for Potchefstroom Boys High. She joins us via Zoom now to take us through her ordeal and air her frustrations with the South African justice system. Before I do go to her, I'm also joined by Kropman, an attorney at Kropman Attorneys, to provide us with a legal view over the matter. But let's start with Lumka. Thank you so much, both of you ladies, for joining me this morning. Lumka, thank you for making time. Just in a very brief summation, can you take us through, the ordeal that you've gone through since the 1st of May in 2002, when you learned that Thabang had passed away, and how did that come about? How did you learn of his death?
I was informed by a stranger who called me from Johannesburg to say that my child had been injured and is lying in a critical condition in Milpark Hospital. I was surprised because my child was in Potchefstroom. I'd sent him for education in Potch. He was at Potch Boys. I was really surprised. I didn't understand what it was all about. Anyway, what happened is that it was around 10 o'clock in the evening. I could not travel to Johannesburg, so I had to leave the following morning. I left Mafeking at 4 in the morning, and I arrived in Joburg at around 6. I met my sister, who took me to Milpark. But on the way, she told me that Thabang was quite well. She was not aware that Thabang was comatose. When I arrived at the hospital, I found my child. Indeed, he was comatose. And the nursing staff and the doctors told me that he was okay, but he was not making any improvement. There was nobody from the school who could explain to what had happened. But I managed to piece together all the information I could gather was that Thabang was playing rugby at Boksburg and he had been injured. However, what happened a few days earlier, or a week earlier, he had had another injury. They were playing with St. Stephen's and he had suffered a concussion. And doctors had declared him unfit to play. I did not have all this information. This came about when he was playing, and I was only informed about this matter days later, that indeed he had suffered a previous concussion. So, unfortunately, the school did not see fit to inform me, even when he was airlifted to Milpark. They did not inform me about this.
And the cause of death is said to be a brain hematoma. With him playing a week later, as you say, was there any decision, or was that decision taken with you in mind? Did it involve you at all about the fact that he has been asked to play within a week of him being concussed? And according to the report that I read, being told by the doctors to not return to the field, at least for a number of weeks, to get better.
Unfortunately, that part was never communicated to me. The school never saw fit to inform me about the previous injury. Even when they took him for the second play in Boksburg, they did not take that into cognizance. Apparently, they sent Thabang to a doctor in Potchefstroom, and the doctor declared him fit to play. That could happen. I mean, the school should have taken Thabang to the doctor. He shouldn't have gone there by himself. However, the doctor who saw him in Potchefstroom gave him a letter to say that, yes, he was fit, he could play. And that is what the coach relied on. Unfortunately, the coach knew better, and even the principal, because Thabang apparently had been suffering headaches and dizziness throughout the week after the first incident. But they didn't take that into cognizance when they put him on the team. So they took him to Potchefstroom, to Boksburg to go and play, despite the fact that they knew that he could not play, he shouldn't have played. However, what happened thereafter, they only know what happened. And they treated me with a lot of disrespect. They did not inform me what happened. They did not inform me that Thabang had been airlifted to Milpark. I only got a call from a stranger who said to me Thabang was lying critically in hospital. It shocked me because I couldn't understand how my child could be lying in hospital
Yeah, for the sake of time, let me bring you in here, Kelly. You've been privy to the documents, the Public Protector's report, and also the documents sent by the Human Rights Commission as well. For the sake of time, what were your findings when you went through those documents?
So the Public Protector had investigated this matter. The findings were released in 2017. Within that, the Public Protector found that there is a duty on the Department of Education in the Northwest to provide some financial relief to Ms. Mbele, as well as open an inquest to discover to have an official cause of death for Thabang, and for there to be an investigation into the conduct of the school and how this sort of conduct can be improved so that accidents like this don't happen again. This has not been done. We're in 2021, and none of the remedial recommendations from the Office of the Public Protector have been implemented. The Public Protector doesn't have its own machinery to enforce the implementation of its own remedial action. Nonetheless, it does have the power and the cause and effect of a court order, and ought to be followed, especially by government departments, with the gravitas of a court order.
Now, the NPA has been pulled into this case as well. For Ms. Mbele, what would her next course of, her next, recourse be?
So the NPA has been brought in, although very slow to act in terms of opening an official inquest file, which has not been done. There's apparently been some issues with regards to archives and retrieving documents. Unfortunately, the best course of action for the family is to approach the High Court for enforcement of the remedial action by the Public Protector. The NPA's power in this regard is merely to open the inquest, not for... It's the first in a long line of steps before anybody's accountability is truly held. But as we've learned lessons from the Ahmed Timmel inquest, the Neil Agate inquest, these things can draw on for an extended period of time, which is unfortunate. So bringing the courts in to bring an interdict to direct the Department of Education and the NPA to perform in terms of the remedial action would be the next step.
Okay, and I hope that will be the step that she will take. Unfortunately, ladies, we have run out of time, but we will continue this conversation, especially off air, as we see if we can get justice for Lumka Mbele, whose child died after playing rugby when he was not supposed to, all 19 years ago, and still no justice for her until today.